A man stumbled over a stone, and this greatly disturbed him. The cause of his stumbling was a stone. In this way, the cause of his anger and suffering was something outside of him. If there had been no stone in his path, he might not have stumbled. Thus, neither anger nor suffering would have arisen. This logic may seem correct. However, many other people walk the same path. Some of them stumble over the stone. Others do not. Those who are able to see the obstruction manage to avoid it. Therefore, the real cause of anger and suffering lies within the man who failed to see the stone. He himself is the cause of his difficulties because he did not see, or was unable to see, the stone. A man who observes and is cautious is free from stumbling. Therefore, the root cause of difficulties is lack of care, blindness, and ignorance. This analysis highlights the difference between a religious and a non-religious person. A religious person, from a Buddhist perspective, always sees the cause of suffering or happiness the way a scientist examines the cause of things. Religion begins with introspection. Without introspection, there is no religion. Buddhism teaches the truth about life, the world, and the causes of life's miseries and hardships. It teaches how to understand, face, and transcend human miseries and troubles. In life, we encounter many difficulties that make us stumble. A man stumbles over a stone and blames someone else for leaving the stone there. A man says he was deceived and blames the deceiver. Yet some are never deceived, no matter how others try to fool them. A wise and alert person is not deceived. Those who are gullible and greedy are easily deceived. Here again, we see that the cause of being deceived lies more in the one who is deceived than in the deceiver. A husband thinks his wife is the cause of his unhappiness, and the wife thinks her husband is the source of her difficulties. This is typical of the modern way of thinking, which always looks outward and blames everything around. Perhaps this is due to the influence of the modern materialistic view of life. The materialist has no time to think about what he is. He always looks around but never within. If he thought for just a moment, "I stumbled," this would make the self the most important factor. Then he might think, the problem does not come from outside. It is said in the Dhammapada, all that we are is a result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness follows like a shadow that never leaves. He insulted me. He hit me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who harbor such thoughts will never let go of hatred. If you are unhappy, do not blame others or your environment. It is your mind, your attitude, that makes you miserable. Changing your location or job may help, but it is not the ultimate cure for your problems and unhappiness. The right attitude and a clear, proper mind are the path to happiness. The problem does not come from outside. Ignorance is the cause of all difficulties and suffering. Ignorance of oneself is the greatest ignorance. The Buddha's first teaching, in terms of seeking the path, was to first know oneself. He taught that the most important thing in solving your problems is first to know yourself. A Greek philosopher, Socrates, dedicated his entire life to knowing himself, and the Buddha taught in the same way. We must know who we are before we can do anything to attain peace, happiness, or freedom. Many people think they know who they are, but we must remember that the self of yesterday is not the self of today or tomorrow. We live a new life continuously. There is no self that remains unchanged. Another way to express this, it seems to me, is to say that knowing oneself means knowing one's own limitations. I believe that psychological problems and neurotic difficulties result from failing to understand our own limitations. By not understanding our limitations, we may either underestimate or overestimate our abilities, and in both cases, we are not being realistic about our expectations. We should know who we are, where we stand, and what our abilities are. The Buddha's teaching was this: know your position at a certain time, place, and occasion. Often, We fail to see our own limitations. We expect praise, and when it does not come, we feel miserable. Thus, the Buddha's teaching to first know yourself is the most important teaching for modern life. If we understand ourselves, we have no right to blame others. We understand them. Only through understanding do we gain peace and harmony. This is the approach the Buddha taught. It eliminates mental agony, anger, stubbornness, and greed. All of this can be eliminated or transcended through self-understanding. That is what it means to know our limitations. When I examine myself, I see that I am full of ego. All problems, misery, unhappiness, and discomfort are ego. Nothing else but ego. If you have any difficulty in life, any worry in your life, it is nothing but your ego. Ego creates problems, misery, and suffering. Ego creates attachment and imprisonment. We always feel obstacles and obstructions in our dealings and activities because we do not know ourselves. And that is the cause of our suffering and pain. Many people think that the cause of most difficulties lies in other people or in systems such as society or the environment. But if we are clear within ourselves, we never feel obstacles or suffering from things and activities in the environment, no matter condition. Thus, as the path to relieve humanity's suffering, the Buddha taught us the true nature of our character, and that knowing our true character is the highest wisdom. The wisdom of knowing ourselves is our greatest virtue. Modern man wears too many masks. We must remove these masks and be our true selves as sincerely and honestly as possible. So we must live authentically without artificiality or superficiality. We must live with full responsibility. We are responsible for our own lives. It is our ignorance that makes our world dark. When we are enlightened, the entire world becomes clear. It is not demons that bring darkness and misery, nor gods who bring happiness or clarity. It is up to us to make our lives bright or dark, to be free or to remain imprisoned. Freedom exists within us. Freedom does not exist in the relative comparative world, but only in the world of unity, in the absolute. Only when the subject and object become one is there true freedom. The Buddha's world is the world where we transcend duality and become one. The world and we are not two, but one. The world is you, and you are the world. As long as we think in dualistic terms, we will have problems. Life is indeed full of suffering and complaints until we begin to see the truth of life with spiritual eyes. If we experience a philosophical and religious awakening, we will be able to rise above petty things and discover that life is joyful. By seeing life objectively, we will be able to lift ourselves above our delusions. We will be able to laugh at our own anger, greed, and useless complaints. In our awakening, we will be great enough to accept all difficulties with courage and a smile. Everything depends on the quality of our minds. It seems that people spend a lot of time beautifying their physical appearance or seeking praise for their actions to the point that they forget or neglect the beautification of their minds. How easily we strive only for material happiness and forget that we live through our minds. What we are is an expression of our minds. To enjoy true happiness, we must beautify our minds. Our minds must be beautiful, and so we will live in a beautiful world. What we are, the world is. We should not seek beauty outwardly, because beauty lies within our own minds.